What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. As you can tell, my voice is gone because I just seen an awesome heavyweight fight between Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder. The real King Kong versus the Bronze Bomber went in there and did what they supposed to do. You get what you asked for. You know what I mean? You get it. You get what you asked for, and I got a good fight. You know what I mean? I got a great fight. I mean, it was like I wanted it to be like Klitschko and Joshua. On the parallel script of things, over here, across the water, across the Atlantic, we got another great fight in the Barclays Center. And you know, it was so similar that it was just unreal. You know, I mean, it came out. Luis Ortiz boxed. You know, and in the first, second, third, and fourth round, they're really hard to score because even in the fourth, they exchanged crosses. You know, right hands to left. You know, Deontay caught Ortiz with a good right to the temple, and in return, Ortiz caught him with a straight left. You know, and then the fifth changed everything. You know, when he hit Ortiz and Ortiz buckled, I was like, oh shit, this fight's about to end. You know what I mean? That's all she wrote. Because once Deontay Wilder connects with the right hand, you know, it's all that she wrote. It's the money shot. It's the best right hand in the business. And so when that happened, I was like, shit, okay, this is a wrap. But Luis Ortiz got up and then he got hit and knocked down so fast that he really didn't know what happened. You know, and that's what happens, you know, when you take headshots, you know, especially hard, severe headshots like that. So he gets up, and it was one of those things where Ortiz got he didn't really know that he was hurt, so he didn't really have to get his bearings back because that was more like a flash knockdown, you know. But the legs never lie, so when he hit him and those legs buckled, I already knew what time it was, you know. But surprisingly, you know, that was at the end of the bell. So the bell saved Ortiz on that because we really don't know how that would have happened. However, if you look at it, Ortiz really, you know, he was like, you could see how his attitude was and his demeanor when he got up. And he was like, okay, what the hell happened? I'm fine. You know, he looked at it as more as a slip, but that wasn't a fucking slip. So the bell, either way, the bell saved him in the fifth. The sixth, Ortiz comes back, okay? He shows that he wasn't hurt. He starts beating his fucking gloves together because he's ready to fight. These guys were actually fighting in New York City, but they were also, it was like fucking King Kong fighting Godzilla, you know, because they're just two massively big dudes. And now if you see these guys face to face in the ring together, the height difference wasn't really big. It wasn't a big height difference at all. It wasn't much in height that were different between these guys. You just two big ass dudes swinging hard and heavy as fuck. And it was like, wow, you know, and I really like the competition with that, you know. So, or, you know, Ortiz, you know, for everything that Wilder did, Ortiz had a rebuttal for. So seventh round, I don't know if AJ, here I go. I don't know if Deontay Wilder really I don't know if he got careless or whatever, but he does have a bad habit of dropping his hands anyway. And then with the clash, he took a right hook from Deontay Wilder, from Luis Ortiz. And Luis Ortiz then shot back a perfect straight left and made him buckle. And then a barrage of punches from Luis Ortiz that had Wilder out on his fucking feet. Wilder was out on his feet. Now, if that fight would have been stopped at that point, you know what I mean? People really couldn't say nothing because we saw worse. We saw worse than that. And Ortiz was ripping in his shit. That was the problem, and that was the whole game plan of Ortiz. And one of his advantages that he can get in the inside and rip those left uppercuts, you know, in those right hooks. So he gave Deontay Wilder all he can handle. But similar to the fifth round, it was at the end of the round. So Deontay Wilder was saved by the bell. You know, not too much because you got to give Deontay Wilder credit because the motherfucker took at least 12 hard shots. Okay. 8th round comes around. I think that during the 7th round, Ortiz punches himself out. Okay. So he punches himself out, and I would still give the round to him, because Deontay Wilder was taking his time to recoup because he was hurt. Again, he was out on his feet. If they still have the standing 8, which I think they should implement that back into boxing, he should have took one then, instead of just stop the fight altogether. But Deontay Wilder took his time, got recomposed, similar to AJ, okay? Because that's what AJ did when AJ got dropped in the 6th, because he dropped Klitschko in the 5th. Klitschko comes back and drops him in the 6th. Parallel, okay? Ortiz hurts Deontay Wilder, throws him with 11, 12 hard, unanswered fucking shots, okay? Wilder was more instinctive too. I'm glad that he was experienced enough to hold, okay? Because his instinct said, hold this motherfucker, because Ortiz was coming in and ripping his ass and ripping into him. So the 8th, 9th round, Deontay Wilder starts landing that right again. Now, I think Ortiz got comfortable and he thought that he could take that shot. I really feel that he thought, well, the worst is behind me and he can't really hurt me with that shot any longer. Dead fucking wrong. He started connecting with the right again, and then pretty soon he made him buckle in the 9th round, but it didn't hurt him as much as it did in the 10th. 10th round comes around, he gets caught with that shot. Ortiz began to put his right foot inside of Deontay's left foot, and that's the straight up the pipe right hand, and he stopped looping with Ortiz, and he threw it right up the middle. It was kind of similarities of how Rahman knocked out Lennox Lewis in Zaire, in Johannesburg rather, So, and then that was the money shot that buckled and he went down. Second knockdown. Well, actually, that's the third. The second knockdown. The third knockdown, he drops his ass again. Just berate of punches. It was unanswered punches, and then of course the 4th knockdown happened in the 10th, and it was no mas. It was no more for Ortiz. But I tell you, that fight was a fight worth having. My voice wouldn't be gone if I wasn't screaming at the top of my not screaming, hollering at the top of my lungs, and telling these guys, let's get it on. So it was a great fight. I'm glad, we saw a good fight. I think it should be a rematch, because you look at it like this. If AJ doesn't want to fight him, and the other fighters that's really up for it, and you can give sorry-ass Tavern a rematch, you know what I mean? And he didn't deserve one at all. You should give Luis Ortiz a rematch. You guys did 10 rounds of hard, great rounds in the history books, you know what I mean? And I think it should happen, because I don't think AJ will want a piece of Deontay Wilder after knowing Deontay Wilder can take punches like he took from Luis Ortiz tonight. So, but the other side of this, after the fight, the recap, I did see great sportsmanship, and I didn't even know about this until Deontay Wilder said it in a press conference, that both of these guys have similar trials and tribulations in their life. They both had sick kids that, boxing helped them, heal their children and take care of their children with the prize money that they had. So they had a similar story, a backstory. Both of their kids were sick. Their daughters were both sick. You know what I mean? And they had mad respect to each other. Ortiz in the press conference, he really didn't give no excuses. The guy's 38 years old. Fact. You know what I mean? He should have fought him 2 or 3 years ago. Fact. You know what I'm saying? This is not Ortiz saying that. This is it's not my opinion. I'm just stating the facts. Ortiz he had a good night, and Wilder had a good night. So it was a good night for both fighters. The better fighter won tonight. So, like I said in my older videos, you have to give Deontay Wilder credit for doing what he did. He took those punches, and then he doesn't really, I gave him credit for speed and power, because everybody knows he has power, but I gave him credit for speed. Now I have to give him credit for fucking having a good chin, because again, he took 12 or 13 or 11. He took over a dozen fucking unanswered hard punches from Luis Ortiz, which is also a knockout artist. You know what I mean? And he takes his first L tonight. So, You guys tell me what you think about it. I think I've covered everything because I'm just leaving Twin Peaks right now, which is a great venue to watch some shit because they're watching MMA in there. And then they switched it on HBO and seen Kovalev. Oh, well, I'll say that for another video. So you guys tell me what you think about Ortiz and Wilder, and should there be a rematch or not, and what, your opinions about it. You guys let me know. And until then, you guys been counterpunched. Peace.